This is Embers in the Ashes, and the official audiobook style version of the released novel of Embers in the Ashes. Embers in the Ashes is written by Gabrielle Fulcher. Special thanks to Trent Landenberger, Ty Chilcutt, Jacob Lujan, and Sam Morales for help and collaboration of the official audiobook release of Embers in the Ashes. This recorded chapter and episode of Embers in the Ashes is voiced by Gabrielle Fulcher. This chapter and episode was recorded in Lubbock, Texas of 2026. Enjoy.
Chapter 7. Ash. The room I appeared in was dark, so dark it felt as though color itself had been stripped from the air. Not shadowed or dim, but empty, like a void that swallowed light before it had a chance to exist. The ground beneath my feet felt solid, yet unreal, and the moment I tried to breathe, my head fluttered, dizziness washing over me in sickening waves, and I tried not to let my breakfast come up. I was not alone. A man stood across the room, half swallowed by the darkness. At first, I could not place him, only that something about him clawed at my memory. He felt familiar, in the way a half-remembered nightmare does, recognizable yet wrong. There was something vile about his presence, something hollow, as if whatever once lived behind his eyes had just been eaten away. The thought made my stomach twist. No, I told myself, it's not possible. Maybe he's just lonely? Then the memory slammed back into me all at once. The smoke, the chaos, the boy who had tried to help me, or had he been trying to take me too? My chest burned as my body overheated, panic flooding my veins. I swallowed hard, fighting the urge to vomit as the room seemed to tilt. My hands trembled at my sides. The man moved, slowly, deliberately. As he turned to face me, my heart stopped. It was him, the man who haunted my dreams, the one who had vanished without a trace, the one everyone said was dead, the one I had loved in silence and then buried those feelings so deep I convinced myself they had never existed at all. Blake. The boy who had grown up beside Iris and I, whose laughter once filled every empty space, whose absence had carved a hollow place in my chest I never quite managed to name. But the man standing before me was not the Blake I remembered. His face was the same, older, sharper, worn by something far heavier than time. But his eyes felt distant, like they were looking out from behind a locked door. This Blake felt fractured, altered, as if the boy I loved had been left somewhere far behind. And this was only what remained. Maybe it's just time and experiences that changed him. My throat tightened. Saying his name felt dangerous, like speaking it might shatter whatever fragile reality held us in place. Blake, I finally asked, my voice barely more than a breath. He studied me for a long moment, as if he was seeing a ghost instead of a girl made of flesh and bone. Then his mouth curved, not quite into a smile. "Been a minute?" he said. The words were simple, but his tone was not. Regret lingered there, tangled with uncertainty, maybe even confusion, as if he, too, was not sure who he was anymore. I sat down slowly, afraid my legs would give out if I did not. My eyes wandered the room, searching for answers, in the bare walls and endless darkness. But they betray me every time, drifting back to him, to the familiar lines of his face, to the stranger standing in the place of someone I had mourned. The silence stretched, heavy and suffocating. I pressed in on my chest until it felt hard to breathe, the kind of silence that could drive a person mad if left alone with it long enough. But no one came. No footsteps, no voices, no rescue. Just me and the man I thought I had lost. "Maybe we should go for a walk," he said at last, his voice low, careful. He didn't drop his gaze from my small figure curled on the stone floor. "I can explain." The words brought some comfort to me. They felt familiar. Blake always talked like that, soft and deliberate. Okay, I guess," I stuttered. We stared at each other in mutual denial. Neither of us are willing to be the first to name what felt broken. He extended his hand, but I hesitated, only a second before taking it. The moment our skin touched, a chill ran up my arm. We stepped outside into a world that did not belong on any map I knew. The sky was dim, not dark exactly, but washed in muted hues, lavender and ash blue swirling together like a bruise healing too slowly. The air smelled faintly of rain and wildflowers, a strange contradiction that left my senses off balance. A narrow path wound forward, paved with smooth stones that glimmered faintly beneath our feet, as if holding light inside them. Blake walked beside me, close enough that I could feel the heat of him, but not touching. "I didn't disappear because I wanted to," he began after several minutes. His voice echoed slightly, as though the air itself listened. "I didn't abandon you or Iris." I swallowed. My throat burned. "Then why did you?" He stopped walking. I stopped too. "This place," he said, gesturing around us. "It's a hidden realm. It exists on Earth, but layered over it, folded into the spaces people do not look. You do not stumble into it unless it lets you, or unless you are pulled." My heart thudded painfully. "That's impossible." "I thought so too," he let out a humorless breath. "Until it happened to me." We resumed walking. As we went farther, the path widened, opening into rolling fields dotted with tall grass that shimmered like glass when the breeze passed through. Far off in the distance, lanterns floated above rooftops, bobbing gently as though tethered to invisible strings. "I slipped and fell on a bridge, and it knocked me out when I was brought here," he continued. I did not understand why at first. I fought it, tried to leave, but time does not work the same way here. Days blur, doors close, and eventually you realize the realm does not care what you want. "Why didn't you come back?" I asked quietly. His jaw tightened. "Because if I had left, it would have followed me." I stopped again. "What would have followed you?" He turned to me, eyes darker than I remembered. "The thing waking up here." The village emerged slowly, as if revealing itself only once it decided I was allowed to see it. Homes were built into the land rather than on it, stone and wood carved together, with crystals on the door of each entryway that pulse softly like a heartbeat. Wind chimes made of crystals, bones, and silver threads sang gently as we passed. People moved through the streets with an unhurried grace, their clothes stitched with symbols that shimmered when they laughed. It was beautiful. "This is where I lived," Blake said. "Where I hid." "Hid from what?" I asked. "From him." The words settled between us like a curse. "The boy with blue eyes," he went on. "The one you saw at the market? His name is Jackson." My chest tightened. "Jackson? How do you know that? Have you been following me?" The memory of his smile rose, unbidden, warm, easy, genuine. "He's planning to take over the realm," Blake said. Slowly, quietly. "He's patient, and he's dangerous." I shook my head. "That does not make sense. He was nice. He helped me." "That's how he works," Blake snapped, then immediately softened his tone. "He does not rule through fear. He rules through trust." A strange unease crawled up my spine, like something about this whole thing is wrong. He wants control over this place, Blake continues. And if he gets it, the village, these people, will not survive it. The realm will rot from the inside out. We passed a fountain where glowing water flowed upwards instead of down, spiraling into the air before dissolving into mist. Children laughed nearby, chasing sparks that leapt from the fountain's edge. Everything about this place felt alive. I don't understand, I whispered. Why me? Why am I here? Blake did not answer right away. That's what scares me, he said finally. Then why did you drag me here? I asked, but he never answered. As Blake guided me through winding streets, he told stories about the lantern festival that lit the sky once a year, about the forest that sang when the moon was high, and about the elders who claimed the realm itself had a will. This place protects its own, he said softly, as long as we protect it too. I wanted to believe him. He spoke with such reverence, such care. When he laughed, it was not sharp or cruel. It was open, human. And yet, something did not settle. Every now and then, I caught him watching the villagers with an intensity that did not match his smile, measuring, calculating. By the time we returned to the square, my head was spinning so badly it felt like the ground beneath my feet was not real. The glowing crystals above blurred into streaks of light, their gentle glow doing nothing to calm the storm in my chest. I only knew one thing for certain. Blake had taken me from my family, from my friends, from the world I understood. And no matter how many explanations he offered, I still did not know why. There were too many holes, too many half-answers wrapped in careful words, and every time I tried to line them up in my head, something doesn't add up. You okay? Blake asked. His voice pulled me back, sharp and suddenly, like waking from a dream that clung too tightly. I blinked and realized I had stopped walking. The square stretched around villagers passing by. Laughter floated through the air. The fountain hummed softly behind us. But I felt separated from it all, like I was standing behind glass. Sure. Blake didn't believe me for a second. You've been quiet, he said gently. Too quiet. I wrapped my arm around myself, fingers digging into my sleeves, as if I could anchor myself there. I'm just trying to process everything. That's fair, he said. It's a lot. A bitter laugh slipped out before I could stop it. A lot? Doesn't even begin to cover it. He waited, giving me space. But that somehow made it worse. His eyes flicked away, jaw tightening. The lantern light caught in the sharp lines of his face, making him look older than I remembered, more tired, more worn down. I shook my head. Frustration burned behind my eyes. And how am I supposed to trust you when you were the one who dragged me here? Silence fell between us again, heavier this time. I know, Blake said at last, his voice rough. I know I have already lost your trust, but if you believe anything I say, believe this. I would never put you in danger unless the alternative was worse. My heart pounded. You don't get to decide that for me. I know, he said again, but the realm already has. I looked around the square, the glowing stones, the people who smiled as they passed, the magic humming just beneath the surface of everything, and felt the truth of his words settle like a weight in my chest. I was already here, already tangled in something far bigger than I understood. And the worst part about not understanding was that I did not know if he was lying. Everything felt natural and real, but in my dream, I felt like there was a dark haziness in Blake, like something was wrong. Jackson, however, was the one that came after me and cried for me to keep my eyes open. Because if Blake was not who he claimed to be, then Jackson coming after me was not just fate. Meaning that dream I had could have been a warning.
This has been Embers in the Ashes. We thank you for tuning in to this latest episode. and we hope you enjoyed the chapter and plan to listen to more coming soon. Make sure to check out our other social medias for more insight, teasers, behind the scenes, and more. Once again, thank you for listening.